Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those joining us are our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Field of Dreams, and one of the favorite sayings from that film is, if you build it, they will come. Our next guest has definitely been able to do the work to be able to make the success happen, and he's showing other people how they can do the same thing as well. We're excited to welcome Tommy Patterson to our program today. We're going to talk to Tommy not only about his own journey, but also what it's been like for him to show people what is possible by his example, but also how he's been able to inspire people toward their own personal greatness as well. Tommy, really appreciate the time today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me, Cyrus.
Yeah, the pleasure's definitely all mine. Tommy, I want to talk about reflection for a moment. We're at that time of year. I think I've been doing it more so that, now that we're kind of able to have the time to kind of slow down a little bit and kind of reflect on the series of events over the past 12 months. What has it been like for you to kind of reflect on this year and the journey that got you here?
Yeah, man, actually, I love that question because this is the best time of year to reflect about what you've been able to get accomplished, all of your victories, and more importantly, all of the failures, right? Because it's through the process of failing that we learn and that we grow as individuals. For 2021, for a lot of people, it was a challenging year coming out of a crazy year, a pandemic, right, in 2020, and you had all of this influx of cash into the marketplace, and for a lot of e-commerce businesses, they did really, really well. And going into 2021, it's kind of been flipped upside down, and it's kind of the exact opposite effect. But in all of that, I think that there were some major, major victories that we had as an organization, as a company, and I know for myself personally, the greatest year of my life. I turned 40 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I think it's all about how you choose to interpret every single day. If you're focused on the right things, you're always winning.
Yeah. Tommy, you mentioned something interesting when you mentioned about the failures, because you're right. It is great that we can be able to look at the wins. Those are always important, but also looking at what didn't work. You have not been afraid to do that for yourself personally and professionally. Do you think that's going to help you in your perspective about life, realizing that maybe every day won't be perfect, but what you can learn from every day is really what matters?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a journey. I grew up very poor. I moved every single year of my life. I didn't graduate high school. I got my GED at 30 years old, started a business at 32, and, now have been, relatively successful by some people's standards, right? And in every stage of that growth, I had to fail to understand what I didn't know, to learn, to be able to make better decisions and to optimize and move forward. And so I think that when you can look at life through the lens of opportunity and look at every single challenge that comes your way as really an opportunity to get better, and that the universe is trying to show you something and to try to help you and to try to mold you into aligning with your future self, that's a beautiful thing. And I would urge everyone to try to live life that way and to try to view life that way.
Yeah. I think that is it, and I'm so glad you shared that about your story, because I think that is the thing. You've been able to show people literally by example. Do you still have those wow moments, though, Tommy? Because, there are people who have gone through just a fraction of what you have been through in your life, and they have given up. They have crumbled. You have gone through a series of events that could have broken you but did not. Do you still have those wow moments that, by kind of moving forward or failing forward, as you're known for saying, that has really helped you to get here?
Yeah, man, every day I'm grateful. Every day I wake up and grateful that I've been able to push through adversity. And look, this year I had some really, really lofty, big, hairy, audacious goals, right, that we didn't actually achieve. But the reality is when you think about life and you just think about everything that comes down your way, it takes the same amount of energy to go out and make $100,000 as it does to make $1 million, as it does to make $100 million, right? If money is what it is, so choose that you're focusing on, right? Energy, effort, and focus are all relative. And whether your goal is to be the best mom every single day, or to be the best business person every single day, or to be the best athlete, every step of that journey is the same. And it's all about how you view it, how you pursue it, and how you interpret different challenges to derive a certain result that you're looking to achieve.
Tommy, I think, there are people, you talk a lot about vision. I noticed when I was prepping for this segment, and people will say, well, you know what, I have a vision. I know what I want. But you also talk about another key component, and that is executing on the vision. You can have the vision, but executing on the vision. How important has that been for you to share with other people in the work that you've been able to do in your business? The importance of, okay, it's great that you have this idea, but what are you willing to do to make it happen?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, you have to, and again, the vision is just the start, right? Like, it's just the place where we begin. If you have it, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, right? If you have an idea, it's just an idea, but it's only an idea until you put it on paper. And when you bring it to reality, now you can start focusing on how to execute the idea to make it real. Look, I think the stat is like, 95% of businesses fail in the first year. And I would probably say 98% of people fail at what they're trying to achieve just because they quit, And the reality is that sacrifice is a crucial component of all success. And if you're not willing to sacrifice to be successful, if you're not willing to get comfortable being uncomfortable, the reality is nothing in your life is ever going to change. And so what we have to do as individuals is we have to get crystal clear on what it is that we want and what we're passionate about and what drives us and what motivates us. And then we need to put a plan together to go execute that. And the other thing that I would say to that is that it's okay that you don't have the answers. It's okay that it's not perfect. It's okay that you don't know how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. The most important thing is that you do it, right? And you learn from it, and you keep doing it until you figure out how to get good at it, and then you can optimize it and get better at it and then become an expert. And I think that is really the main thing that I try to preach to everyone is that, look, I'm no different than anyone else, right? The only difference between me and someone who's unsuccessful is I've simply chosen to do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And that right there is the gold, right? That's what everyone needs to understand is that it's about the process. It's about the journey. And if you're committed to the journey, you can get the result.
Such a great point. For those who are just finding out about you, Tommy, I should mention that you are the founder of WKND Digital. Talk to us about the company, what it does, and what it's been like for you to see that growth. You mentioned that as part of your reflection for this year, but how did it all begin?
Yeah, so, look, I got my GED at 30 years old. At 32, I was in college. I was kind of lost trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And, I started a activewear brand in the CrossFit space. And, I got pretty successful at that. We were able to grow that to 8 figures. And through that process, what I realized is that I was really good at marketing, and I knew how to create a result, how to drive a specific result through my marketing efforts, through creative content, through email marketing, through paid media advertising. And that actually turned into my agency that we have now, which is Weekend Digital. We're the #1 growth agency in the world, and we're focused on creating content that sells. Our job is to help grow and scale e-commerce brands to have profitable sales. And, all of that, what's really cool about that, though, is that all started from just a whim, right? I started a T-shirt brand that became something more than a T-shirt brand, and I stayed committed to the process. And none of it was easy, by the way. It's never been easy. It's always been hard. There's always been challenges, but I stayed committed to the process. and I sacrificed through to become excellent at something. And now I'm able to do that same thing for other companies and help them achieve their results through our agency, Weekend Digital.
Got you. So I want to talk about the role of social media for a moment, because one thing when I was prepping for this, even coming into today, Tommy, I know how you're able to use some of the popular sites like not just Instagram, but also using the Reels feature to share these important messages. Have you noticed that those have been ways you've been able to not only to rally the troops and keep people around you inspired, but also those who are just stumbling upon your content on social to kind of give them that motivation as to what they can do?
Absolutely, man. Social media is it's like a gift and a curse, right? It's like the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world all at the same time. And for me, I think that a part of my mission is to help other people understand that they can do it. So much of life is just rooted in belief. And unfortunately, we're in a society where, we're kind of taught to just do the same thing as everybody else. And in order to become excellent at something, you must first believe that you can. And so my goal in making this content and sharing my story and trying to help people understand that, look, I did this. I'm not special. I just worked my ass off. I worked really, really hard to get to where I'm at. And what I want people to understand is that you can do the same thing. The question is how bad do you want it, and what are you willing to give up to get what you want?
Yeah. And I think that is it. I mean, being honest with yourself, I think that is, again, the big key. You said something just now that's really interesting, Tommy, and I've seen it reflected in your content as well. One thing that does stop so many people from even starting is the fear, right? The fear of what other people are going to say, the fear of, hey, what if this doesn't work out? What people are going to say to me? How they're going to feel about themselves. What helped you? Because I'm sure this will benefit our audience. What helped you to not allow fear to stop you from starting?
Well, look, full disclosure, when you start anything, there's fear and anxiety, right? And it's the fear of unknown. The unknown is usually what stops everybody from ever doing anything. And then what happens is we get in our heads about all the reasons why we can't, right? And those voices in our head are so powerful. And what we need to understand is that it's no different than anything else. When you started grade school, you just didn't start reading. You just weren't good at math. You didn't just learn how to drive a car. All of these are things where there was always fear there, right? But we had to overcome it. And the same is true in the world when it comes to starting a business or starting a side venture or pursuing acting or whatever it is for you, right? You have to first accept that you don't know, and that's okay. And what I would also say, and this is something that is so huge and so important for people to realize is usually when someone is judging you, they're judging you from a place of insecurity because they really wish they probably had the gall to do what you're doing, right? The mirror is a real thing. When we judge others, that usually comes from our own insecurities. And so what I would say is that, you can't be fearful of failing. Failure is the most beautiful thing in the world if you understand how to leverage it to get better at something. And then the other thing also on top of that is that, look, if you don't start, right, if you don't ever begin, nothing in your life is ever going to change, right? And so if you're okay with your life, don't ever start anything. If your life is good and you don't want more, then you shouldn't pursue something. But if you want to have a different life, you have to be willing to do something different to create the life that you want. And that is always, always, always. There's always going to be some fear in there, and just for the audience to understand is that the fear only gets larger as your business or whatever your venture is get larger, but you also get comfortable pursuing that, right? Because it becomes normal, and it's not fear anymore. It becomes more of, how do I do this? How do I do it better? What are the activities that I need to do to be better on a daily basis to make those feelings go away? And so what I would say is you just got to start. You got to move forward. You have to push yourself, and you need to be committed to excellence, and you'll get the result.
Yeah, I think that's it. So let's talk about, I know we all kind of have this balancing act, Tommy, of, wanting to be present in the moment. I struggle with that sometimes. I'm sure our audience does as well, because you're always thinking about the next thing, right? What's next? How do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you were talking about at the beginning of the segment about the reflection for the year, right? But I think, all of us are always looking forward to what's to come. How do you balance those two?
Yeah, look, I think that it's very easy to, I think it's human nature to always want more, right? We always want what we don't have, and we always want more than what we've got. And what I would say is the balancing act is really about being grateful for everything that you have, no matter how it's worked out. And every day when I wake up, there's a couple things that I do religiously, and number one is just literally getting grateful for everything that I have, the good, the bad, the indifferent, and then coupling that with exercise to get my body moving, to get my emotions moving, to get my machine operating the right way. And then on top of that, I then focus on, okay, what are the things that I need to do to get more, to be more? Because, if you really think about, businesses as a whole, and I'm going to use this as the example, you are a reflection of your business. People don't have business problems, they have life problems that reflect in their business. And so you becoming the best vessel that you can be, you becoming the best version of yourself every single day, you committing to excellence and to not beat yourself up when you fall off the wagon, but to get back on the wagon and keep pursuing the dream, the mission, the vision, the values. That's how you do big things in this world. And so, look, work-life balance, I don't know a person who's excellent at it. I think the way that you approach that is that you got to find what works for you, but it always starts at the core. And what works for you should always be focused on how can you be the best version of yourself every single day, and everything else will work itself out.
There we go. Great advice for us all. Again, everyone, Tommy Patterson has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Tommy. So glad we could have you on the program to share a bit of your journey. Where can our audience go to stay connected with you, Tommy, and kind of keep up with you as you go into the new year?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm on Instagram at Tommy Patterson, TommyPatterson. I'm also on Twitter every once in a while at Tommy Patterson, and those would be the best places to find me on social media, or you can just email me at tom@weekenddigital.com.
All right. Well, continued success to you, Tommy. Really appreciate you stopping by, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays. Happy New Year, everyone. Stay the course.
Hey, thank you. You as well, Tommy. Appreciate that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.